RZR oil change number 2. There it is, 47.4 hours. 944 miles. And this will be the second oil change. Doing an oil change on a RZR XP 904. First thing you should do is locate your owner's manual and flip to page 137 if you're a 2012 anyway. Make sure you write down in your maintenance log the hours and the miles and the date you performed the service in case there's any warranty issues. I've purchased a gallon here of PS4 pure Polaris synthetic oil and a Polaris filter to go with my RZR. I also keep a copy of this receipt in my files. Along with, I took a snapshot of both the oil and the receipt. Other useful tools you may want: a funnel. I have a funnel here with a hose attachment. The hose is sitting somewhere around here. I also have a bucket that I've marked with oil fill, and so that I know that I'm getting out the proper amount of oil, which should be about 3.5 quarts. This is what I got out on the last one I did. Okay. And then there's my RZR bucket, just a little child bucket. Another useful item you might find is like a Rubbermaid tub. I stick this under the RZR so not to get oil all over my garage floor, and I stick the bucket inside that, and I put the funnels up in there into the bucket and drain it into the bucket, so if anything spills, any nuts, bolts, they fall into here. You also will need your catch drain for when you undo the oil filter, which I will show you where that is located in a moment. So let's get started. I've located my oil and filter change page 78 in my owner's manual, and I'll review the outlined information here. Okay, there's 3 locations where you're going to need to drain your oil. The first one here is in the top sump here, and there's a nut underneath the fender here you need to take off, and it's right, you can see next to it, it's right here, and you need to drain the oil into that. So that'll be the first one you drain. Okay, and the one that I had a difficult with making sure I got the right one, I'll show you that in just a moment. Looking underneath here is the other one, and I'll show you that in a moment. And it takes an extension and a Allen wrench to get to it, and it's kind of tricky, but I'll show you how to get that in just a moment. Okay, got a 1/2 inch socket here. You think it'd be metric, it's not actually metric, it's 1/2 inch on a short extension. The long one was a little bit too long. Come over here, and I'm going to go to the bottom of the oil sump here, and I'm going to disconnect that. But before I do, I'm going to put my tub under there with my funnel with the long hose. So let me go ahead and get that. Before I get the oil out of the sump, what I've done here is I put a couple Rubbermaid tubs in. I know I said use one, but I actually have a secondary one sitting there just in case any oil runs off the frame or anything into a different location. And then underneath that I put a piece of plywood. So when I watched other videos, one of the big things was oil going everywhere. This also includes for my motorcycle. I do the similar thing. And what it allows me to do is I really have no issues with oil everywhere because of the precautions I made ahead of time. Now let me go ahead and position this underneath, and you can see I have my bucket here, my Polaris bucket, and right here. And in my other bucket, what I've done is I've taken the hose that normally goes on my other one, and I've attached it to this smaller funnel here that I can get up underneath there, and so when that goes in there, I'll be able to take the oil and I'll be able to direct it straight. As you can see, I'll be able to direct the oil into the bucket where I can monitor how much oil I've pulled out. Alright, next step. This next part here, I'm going to have to put down the camera, so you're going to have to just wait for pictures and video in a moment, but I'm going to undo this nut here, drain the oil down into the bucket, catching everything in that funnel, and be with you. I'm back here, and I've drained the oil from the sump, and you can see I got a little bit of oil here on the frame, and that's because my funnel was a little bit too small to handle the flow. There was a kind of a bend in the hose, so anyway, that was a small overflow, but you can see because of the way I positioned the bucket, I have no oil on my floor down here. Most of it all went into the bucket. And any overflow, which there was none, actually would go into the blue tub, but that was okay as well. Anyway, I just momentarily stopped the flow of the finger and let the funnel dry and then come on in. Last time I think I used my bigger funnel and it was just a little more difficult to get in there, so I chose to use this one this time. Have to remember that for next time. Alright, for this next part, you're going to need a shorty extension and a 6mm, if you can see that, but 6mm Allen end wrench or socket. And here's the tricky part. It comes here, and you got two holes here, and you're gonna put it in the center one here. And here's the really tricky part, is that when you put it in here, let's see, it'll lock in. It's a perfect fit, 6mm, but getting the oil in the bucket is a little bit tricky. So I'll go ahead and show you how I'm going to do that. Alright, before I go ahead and undo that though, I want to show you something here. If you can see that, well, maybe you can't quite see that in the sun. But the oil there, this is from the top sump, is right there. 2 quarts came out of the top sump. And I should get about 1.5 quarts right out of the motor itself. Slight change of plans. I took my 6mm shorty here, and what I did is I used just a cheapy bowl, and the bucket was a little too tall to the frame so I can get in there. So what I did is I reached in here, I broke it loose with the ratchet, and then just finished it off with a hand, and I was very careful. Pulled it straight out. I had these rags careful. Got a little bit on my hand. I don't see how we can avoid that. But pretty much 95%, 99% of the oil went in the bowl here. I'm going to pour that rest of that bowl into the bucket. That should be about 3.5 quarts. We'll check that out. I want to point out there is a crush washer there. That actually didn't come out with my plug nut or plug bolt, and so you want to make sure that gets back on there. It actually dropped out into the oil, so make sure that gets put back on. Don't forget, yeah, that crush washer. Now I got that crush washer in. I'm going to go ahead and take out the filter. And let me tell you, this is the part why I decided to make this video. It's because I was looking for the filter. I could not find it anywhere. It's hidden back here behind the back seats. You got to pull the back seats out. I'll do that now, and I'll show you. Back seats removed. You just pull these pins right here. And it's kind of a pain, but it comes off. You have to kind of work it through the seat belts here. Notice it's a little dirty. The razor's a little dirty. I did that so I'm going to clean it afterwards, so if I have any oil spills. Yeah. Got that piece off. You can also hear my fill filters here. Looks pretty good. So I can check that while I'm here. And here is my oil filter here, and this one's pretty tricky. I put as much things underneath as I can to catch any oil. And there's a little catch basin that they give me, a little trap that you can use to catch the oil as it comes out. You take the filter off. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then Polaris factory thing here. Anyway, so it goes on here kind of like this, and you squeeze that in there and you get it underneath, and it's supposed to catch all the oil in this little catch here, which last time I was pretty successful at doing, so we'll see how it goes. I had to I put the pan in from underneath here, and I'm gonna have to take it out, but I'm gonna need 2 hands for this. So I did pretty good catching most of the oil. You can see a little bit of oil leakage there, but for the most part, that thing, it's got a collar, slips underneath here, drives down to the catch basin there. So good luck getting this out. You can see there, there's just maybe an ounce or so. I doubt there's even 2 ounces of oil there, but that's what came out that I missed. Best I left got caught in the filter. Alright, I'll go ahead and put the new filter on and put the oil in, and this oil change should be done. Can't quite see this, but we're just under 3.5 quarts. I'm not sure why 3.5 quarts didn't come out, but we're just shy, baby. Less than 1/4 of a quart there, but so anyway, there we have. Alright, I've pushed the RZR out there in the driveway, and I'm going to wash it off before I put the oil back in. That's why I pushed it. So you can see here, a little bit of oil in the pan. Nice thing about these bowls is you just throw everything in there and clean it up later. That's probably my little bit of oil that I was missing there. Alright, so you can see not much of a mess. Got a little drop on the concrete there because I foolishly moved the bucket. Oil that was on the frame dripped on there. Anyway, I'll be washing the RZR and putting the oil in, and we'll be done.